Right, let me just grab this bike out, and here comes Torv. Right, and if we just turn you round and face you there, you can see the new bike. Now, well, it's not very good light at the moment, but the story behind this one is, well, saw it on eBay. Saw it for quite a while actually. It was on there for a good few months. Eventually, put an offer in and it got accepted. So it was up for 60 quid and I got it for 30. It is a 1987 Scott USA mountain bike. What does it say? Tans tubing? We'll have a look at that closer. It's got a full Dior group set. It is in need of a lot of work, but we're going to do it. We're going to get it refurbished. So the first thing you're going to notice is how battered this bike is. If I try and carefully pan round, I mean, you've got chips all over it. The original paint has been battered and bruised throughout the years. It's in really bad condition. Oh, but as you can see there, this is one of the reasons why I decided to buy it, apart from the Dior of course, and that is this little feature right here. It has spokes on the chainstay. I've never seen that before, so that was a cool little feature. But yeah, going back to the paint is horrible. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to remake these decals or not. I'm going to try to, and I'm not sure on the model. It's Scott USA, and if we go to here, we've got World Cup, but apart from that I have no idea the model, none whatsoever. So if anyone can point that out, that would be great. There's the special mountain bike tubing by Tange. Now it should come with a full set of the Dior MT60, has the rear derailleur, doesn't have the rear rim. That has been replaced at some point, and obviously I'm not sure about the chain and the cassette, how original it is. That is 6-speed. I might be able to get away with going 7-speed, or see if the shifters have an extra click, but I found another wheel set on eBay, which I am hoping to get, so I can keep the MT060 front and rear together and make it a complete group set again. Here at the crank area, we've got the original front derailleur MT060. We've got the U-brake. This is not the original chain set. The other side is. The other side's an MT060 arm, but this side is not. This side's a tourney arm, and it's obviously been replaced at some point, I guess when the teeth wore out, and instead of buying a new set of rings, it was easier to buy this arm, and also the bottom bracket's been changed at some point, so it's not the original cup and cone, it is a cartridge bearing, and unfortunately it's one with the non-drive side having plastic cups. They're going to be brittle as anything, and they are going to shatter and make my life a misery to get out. I have found a replacement for this as well, so I'm taking this set off and I'm going to put a replacement MT060 set on, which should actually, that will finish off the group set. Now, you know how much I love a fight, so this seat post, SR La Prade, is seized. Not sure if it's original or not. Oh, it's also cracked. It's also cracked all down there. Can you see that on there? No, you can't. So you can see a crack right there. So this seat post is going to get replaced. I didn't notice that to start with, so it pays to look around, but right there you can see the build-up of corrosion around there. I have sprayed it down already with some lubricant, but it's going to take a lot more work than that. I'm probably not going to be able to twist this out right now. No way. So that is going to take some work. Worst comes to worst, I'll just melt it out again. I'll take the bottom bracket out and melt it. Let's start at the bottom here for the front. You can see the rusting on the forks, how the paint has just completely faded over the years, but this is the original front wheel. MT060 hub with area rim going up, if I can. We've got the MT060 cantilevers on the front, which again should polish up nicely. There's not much rust on them themselves, so that should look good. But getting a bit further up is where things go downhill again. So there's the Scott USA head badge, and then we hit this. Oh, this mess here. This stem has obviously been ran very high. I'm not sure of the height limits on it because I can't see them at the moment, but the lady who bought this off said she used it through thick and thin. Just realised the front tyre's on the wrong way around. But yeah, the headset is nicely seized as well. Stem is in there seized. I can't turn the bolt, can't turn the headset. This is obviously very rusted and it's going to take a lot of work to get out. It's steel, so it's not going to be melted out, so it's going to be a case of soaking it, heating it, soaking it, heating it. I'll probably end up replacing the headset. I'll definitely end up replacing the headset because it's peeling. But hopefully that won't be too much of a fight. Hopefully. Yeah. Up top here, the Scott original stem isn't that bad a condition actually. When you look at the black paintwork on it, it's really good actually compared to the rest of the bike. It's still glossy. I might be able to keep that as it is and just replace the decal. The bars, obviously bright pink, what they should have been, has worn away. It's faded over the years. That's etched in? I don't know how careful I've got to be with this, but these are etched in. The Scott logos, can you see that? Yeah, just about. So I might be able to respray these bars carefully and keep this logo. But if we pan round, we've got the Dior thummies. So we've got the nice Dior just brake levers. Both of them are free and moving actually. Both of them work. And we got the thummies. We've got the Dior light action SIS thummies. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 speed on there. It's going to be friction on the other side. And yeah. Front works. Front derailleur works. That's still smooth. Rear derailleur doesn't. Rear derailleur does not move when I change this. So there's something seized up the line somewhere. Probably a cable underneath. I can actually change this to friction as well, so that's why I might be able to get the 7 speed in there. So we'll see. We'll see what the other wheel set comes out like. I'm not actually sure what speed it is, but I have a feeling it could actually be the 6-speed Uniglide rather than Hyperglide. So that would be a pain, trying to find a decent Uniglide cassette for that. We'll work it out. We'll work it out. I do want to try and get this back to MT060 altogether. So that's the bike. I'm going to start with a strip down now, and hopefully get it looking back to 1987 standard. Always here. But this is what happens when you have a long-term project and yeah, it just takes ages. Ignore what's in the background, that's for the doors, and that is going to be rebuilt very soon, hopefully next week. But this, Scott, has been a long-term project, and that means I forgot to film a couple of parts for this because I've been concentrating on trying to get out these seized components. As for the seized components, there were three, the trifecta of seized components. The front end had the headset and the stem seized, so I guess that's actually four now. But anyway, headset and the stem went through heat cycles, soaking cycles, flipping the bike upside down so the tube would hold all the fluids like white vinegar and then penetration fluid and all that sort of stuff. And eventually managed to get it free. You did see me put the headset in the vise and use the handlebars to turn it, and that actually managed to break the headset free, but the goal was to get the stem out. The stem came out when I managed to clamp the fork like really high up so it wouldn't twist in the vise, and after more soaking that did come out, so brilliant. I can now change the headset and get a replacement for that and sort out the stem, and that should all work properly. The bottom bracket of Nightmares, this non-drive side was plastic, and you saw me melt that out. That was pretty much the only way I could get it out. Plastic becomes brittle over the years, and when you try and use those Shimano multi-tools, after it's become brittle and got stuck into the threads, it's just impossible to get out. So just heating it up a little bit so that it becomes malleable is the easiest way to get them out. The other side, however, was a bit more tricky. I did go through heat cycles on that and soaking cycles to try and get it free. I couldn't get it free by hand, I don't think. I can't remember actually how I got it out now, but I remember definitely I came home from work with the cordless impact wrench, impact gun that you stick sockets on, and managed to use that, and that unwound it. So yeah, that came out. That wasn't too much of a fight, that was pretty straightforward. That the impact gun did help a lot with that, but that's free out now. The threads are good, I've tested them. So the only thing left was up the top. Oh, before I go up the top, this is sort of the pink that it's meant to be. For some reason, looking at the screen, the white balance is off and it's looking a lot bluer, so I'll probably change that in post and it will look right. But it's really meant to be a rich, deep pink on the frame, which it will be going back to. Okay, seat post. The nightmare of all bikes, having a seized seat post, and with the mountain bike it's going to be quite a long one in there. There wasn't too much sticking out. Now obviously this bike was made in 87. I think I said the owner had it since 92-ish, and has obviously kept it at the same height ever since, and it is sea solid in there. It is sea solid. I've gone through soaking cycles on top, gone through heat cycles on top. When I managed to get the bottom bracket out, I flipped the bike upside down, filled the tube with white vinegar, with penetration spray, tried more heat cycles, but that actually just drained straight out because the seat post was cracked, so the fluid just came out of there eventually. I've tried using a pipe wrench around the seat post to twist it out to get a bit more force on there. That didn't work, and finally I tried to stick it in the vise, like I did with the rock hopper. I know, we'll go inside in a minute. I know. Okay, I'm just trying to film, Torv. So yeah, anyway, stuck it in the vise, clamped it up tight, and it's just welded in there. It's just so deep down. Out the garage, babe. Come on. it's just in there so tight that unfortunately it just ripped out. Much like the rock upper did, it just ripped straight out. So that was unsuccessful. I've taken it into work now. I've drilled out the centre as much as possible, so it's less material on the inside. I've used a reciprocating saw to cut channels out, which did work. The 4 channels that I cut in, I managed to peel away the sides and release a lot of it, but I haven't managed to get as far enough down as I could to release the whole post. So the last thing I've got to do is melt this post out. Find that outside. If you have a look there, that's all the cuts I've made. That's where it snapped off. I managed to then stick the reciprocate, or drill it out a little bit to clean it up, stick the reciprocating saw down and make some cuts in to relieve the pressure. And it's come down to, the blade was about 3 inches long, I guess. It's cut all the way through there pretty easy and peeled away, but it's still not released. It hasn't gone far enough down, and you can't just whack a hammer down the side, otherwise you'll just deform the tubes. So yeah, melting it is. I need to plug up a hole in the bottom of the tube, plug that up so I can fill it up with the fluid, and then hopefully I'll mix up the not oxalic, the caustic soda, and get that melted out. And while we're looking around the frame, decals, you can't get these as they are. You can't just buy them off the shelf. So I've spoken to Gil at Retro Decals. He's made up a couple of decals before for me. I've sent him pictures of Tange. It's not Tange, is it? Yeah, it is. Tange decal right here. I've sent him pictures of the Scott USA decals that adorn the top tube and down tube. And he's agreed to look at making them. He's going to have to redraw them. He has some on stock file, some Scott decals, but they're not as early as this. So he's going to redraw them. It's going to be about £50 to get the set drawn and remade. But I want them to be original. I want them to be accurate. So that's what we're going for. And it should come out looking nice. Also, when it comes to the finish of the tubes, after how I'm going to get it done, I've obviously got black over the majority of the frame with the pink on the seat tube, sorry. I've got the pink fork and I've got the pink handlebars. I've thought about how to do this, and I've spoke to the guys at the powder coating shop that I normally use, because I was debating whether to spray the whole thing or to get it powder coated. Powder coating, you can't just mask off an area and do a separate colour, otherwise there'll be a step. So after speaking to him, I think the best way to do this is going to get the whole bike powder coated in the pink. They've got a really nice pink there, so I'll get the whole thing done in pink. Mask off the seat tube, and then he said it's perfectly fine to just sand down the rest of the bike, sand down all the other tubes, just key it up and then spray it. So the rest of the frame set here, the frame, will be sprayed black to get it looking original, with some black enamel. Obviously the fork is going to be pink anyway, the handlebar is going to be pink anyway, so that shouldn't be a problem. It's going to be a lot of work to do this, to get it powder coated and then sand everything back, but I think the powder coat will make a nice protective layer underneath the paint, and I think it's going to be the best way around. It's going to be a tough, durable finish, whereas if I decided to rub this down and spray it myself, I'm not going to get as thick a layer on there, I'm not going to get as tough a finish. So I think that is the best way around it, hopefully. Another update, of course, everything is boxed up and cleaned now, but looking back at what I said previously when I showed them when I first shot this, I said I'd found a crankset and a wheel set, and Marsan from Poland supplied both of those. They're in super good condition. I was a bit wary of buying a 6-speed Uniglide wheel set, which this bike would use, but the cassette on it looks really good. It looks in really good condition. So this is the crankset. It is the MT60. I believe it's 1988 rather than 97. Is that even in? There we go. Wow. Probably going to need some darkening. There we go. This is the crankset. Super good condition. Biopaste rings. It's even got the chain guard on it, so that will look amazing. I do have obviously the matching arm that came with it. And the original arm on this has gone off elsewhere to be paired up with another crankset, so that's gone to use. But yeah, I'm super glad I found this. All the rings look in good condition. Inner ring looks pretty much perfect. Middle ring, there's no worn down teeth on there like the Kirk had, or both Kirks had. So yeah, that looks good. And the wheel set, well, the wheel set is here, totally overexposed. I am going to wrap both of them in the Schwalbe blackjacks. One of the tyres on the bike was already a blackjack. I've got a spare one, so that will go on the front. But these are again in really good condition. That's the cassette 6-speed Uniglide. It's the top cog is the lock ring. They all look really good condition on there, so I'm crossing my fingers. I'm hoping that I'm not going to get any chain slip. I think the 1, 2, 3rd cog is the worst. I'm hoping, I'm just fingers crossed that they're going to work, because Uniglide are expensive to replace, as they're not that common. Both front and rear are the MT60s. I made sure of that they're a matching set. So I do have the the front wheel going spare with the bronze anodised rim. The rims on these are Vineman. They're huge, chunky rims of an early alloy with really good brake wear on there. There's barely any of it, so I think they'll be good on the bike. But there we go, some replacement wheels with some Schwalbe blackjacks on there. Okay, so that's the hole I'm going to bung up. I'm going to try some silicone sealant. So going through there like that. Drop it in. Press it down. And hopefully let that dry. Should have a good seal. Make sure everything's clean. And we'll be able to fill that tube up. So I guess we'll be back in a bit. Okay, Torvi safely inside. She's not going to come out with this. My caustic solution is ready, I do believe. Got a 4-pint milk jug, whole milk of course. Just going to pour it in. Hopefully the bottom is sealed up. It's going to start reacting. Oh, you can just. There we go. Okay. Well, let's let that do its thing. It'll start bubbling. I've got loads of solution left. It's going to make off some gases. But yeah, that should do it. That should finally get this seat post out, and then once that is out, I can get the frame after the powder coaters, do the frame and everything pink like I said, and we can get on with finishing this bike off. And I think it will look super nice once everything's polished up, all the decals are made, and yeah, it all comes together. So that'll be for the next episode. I think this one will have gone on long enough. This isn't going to take long to get out. Touch wood, wooden bench. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this little intro into my 1987 Scott USA mountain bike. One of the first, I think. It's been a hard fight, but stay tuned for the next one. Subscribe if you want to see that. Hit the like button, hit the dislike button if you want, and I'll see you in the next video while this bubbles away.